to trade the car in and get a new car, but they told me that the car was worth literally 4 times lesser than what it was. Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rita Lawani, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about a few mistakes that I made when purchasing my first car. Let's get straight into the video. So first things first, I'm going to start us off with a little bit of a backstory as to how I purchased my first car and what happened when I purchased my first car. So I woke up on one fateful morning and I just decided I'm gonna go get a car. I never had any plans the night before, and I just basically, it was a very spontaneous decision and I kind of regret it. I was having issues coming in back and forth from my job, and I said it's high time I get a car. So I go into this car dealership. I'm not gonna mention any names because I don't want to get sued. I got attended to by a salesman. He was very friendly. He was, nice and whatnot. And just have this at the back of your mind. They're always going to be nice because they want to make money. They want to get the commission. They want to get everything that comes with, like making sales and stuff. So they do not have your best interest at heart. Well, at least some of them don't. So for this particular salesman, I don't know if he had my best interest at heart or not, but I basically told him that I wanted a car, and he was like, yeah, so he took me around, he showed me a few cars. He asked me if I had any preferences as to what kind of car I wanted to get, and I told him, yes, I do not want a small car, I want an SUV, and I do not want a white car. Reason being, white cars, when the summer comes and the sun is out, they fade over time. I just told him I just want an SUV and I do not want a white car. And he said, okay. We started off with the registration process and everything. I signed some few documents. My credit score was 600 plus. At the time, 600, it was in the 670s, I think 678. He told me I did not have like a great score that can actually get me the car that I want, because I actually wanted the Toyota RAV4. That's always been my dream car. Anybody that knows me knows that I always talk about the Toyota RAV4. So that's the car that I always wanted to get. So that's the car that I went in there hoping to get. But he told me that I was not going to be able to get the car. Reason being, one, because I had a very short credit history of 6 months. They said I needed at least 1 year worth of credit history to actually, be able to purchase a very good car. Long story short, I literally spent the whole day there. We was just going through so many documents and stuff. They came back and said that the loan that I was qualified for was a certain amount and it couldn't cover the Toyota RAV4. And I said, okay, so what kind of other cars do you have? And they told me that they had a Nissan Rogue Sport. And I said, okay, can I see that? So they brought in the Nissan Rogue Sport. It was a silver Nissan Rogue Sport. And I liked it. It was clean. It was nice. It was compact. And I said, okay, this can actually be a good car for me. I basically just wanted a car. So I was very naive at the time. I had no experience whatsoever as to what I'm supposed to be doing, or like the right questions that I'm supposed to be asking. So I signed all the documents and everything, and I purchased this car. 3 days later, after making this purchase, I was driving on the highway, and the rearview mirror in the front, the rearview mirror came down. It literally fell off while I was driving on the highway on my way to work, and I was like, oh my god, there's no way in hell I just had this problem. I literally just purchased this car 3 days ago. Yes, that was the first time that happened when I purchased the car. About a week later, and I actually I don't know anything about cars, so I had to park on the highway, like literally park on the highway, watch a YouTube video as to how I can get that mirror back up there, because I cannot drive a car without being able to see my rear view. So that was a problem for me. So I parked on the highway, watched the YouTube video, and I was able to fix it back. When I got to work, I was so disorientated. Like you guys can imagine, I was absolutely disorientated. I was upset, and I was just like, oh my god, what's going on? But after some time, I got over it. A week later, this car died on me on the highway. Literally died on me on the highway. It would not start. I had to call my brother to help me come jumpstart the car. We jumpstarted the car, and I took it back to the car dealership because they told me that I had 30-day warranty. If anything happens to the car in 30 days, I could bring the car right back and they would fix it up with no charges. So I went back to the car dealership and I told them what had happened, and they told me I would have to pay out of pocket. So I said, there's no way I'm paying out of pocket because I was told that I actually have a 30-day warranty, whatever. And they were like, okay, let's check it in the system, da da da. And I said, okay. So I was very polite about it, by the way. So they came back and told me, oh yeah, there's not going to be any charges to your car. We're going to have our engineers, technicians, whatever they're called, we're going to have them, look up the car and see what's going on with it and diagnose it. And I said, okay, no problem. They came back and told me that the battery was dead and the battery needed to be changed. And that's another crazy stuff right there, because how do you sell a car to a customer and not make sure that the battery is actually in good quality? You know what I mean? Like, that was such a huge mistake on their part. So I said, okay, no problem. I spent literally the whole day there. They told me that I had to drop off the car because it would take like 4 to 5 hours to get it fixed. I was like, oh my God, there's no way I'm just gonna drop my car and just sit there for 4 to 5 hours. So I had to drop the car off, take a Uber, go back home and come back after a few hours. When I came back, they fixed the car and everything was okay. 2 weeks later, after I bought this car, the car died on me on the street. And this time around, it was the alternator. They said the alternator was bad, whatever the case may be. I was just so lucky that the car actually died on me in my neighborhood, just a few blocks before my house. This car died on me. I did not have any means of getting my car back to the apartment. I had to leave my car and just park it on the side of the highway. I had to go get a mechanic the next day. The mechanic came the next day, checking the car out. He told me to buy some parts, which I did. And long story short, I had to get a new alternator that cost a lot of money because the first alternator was bent. And I had to get a belt. I had to get a belt because the fan belt, I don't know if you're into cars, you're gonna understand what I'm saying, but there's a belt in the engine that makes the engine roll and like stuff. So the belt caught. So that was what happened. The belt caught and the car would not move. So I spent so much money just trying to get that car fixed at the time. After getting the car fixed, I was just so sick and tired of everything that was going on because it's been basically 1 month ever since I got this car and I'm having all these issues and stuff, and I was just not having it anymore. Ever since then, it's just been crazy. I did try to go back to trade the car in and get a new car, but they told me that the car was worth literally 4 times lesser than what it was.
What the fuck?
So the value had decreased. But before then, I'm gonna let you guys know why everything was happening the way it was. When I got this car and everything went well and everything, I was happy, right? Oh, I just got my first car, da da da. I was so excited. Then I go home. 3 days later, I got an email sending me the Carfax for the car. And if you know what a Carfax is, that's like the history of the car and stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, I think I actually needed to see that, which I was never told about the Carfax. So I look through this email and I see that this car had been in an accident. What? Really? This car had been in an accident and the salesman never told me? That explains exactly why the car was having all those problems. Because if you know about cars, then you know that the moment a car has been in an accident, it never remains the same. It never remains the same. It's always going to be problems upon problems upon problems. And that's very frustrating. And so you guys can imagine how I felt when this whole thing happened to me. If you see me looking at, that's because I'm looking at my iPad. I jotted down a few points that I want to share with you guys of the do's and don'ts of the mistakes not to make when purchasing your first car. The first thing first that you want to do before purchasing your first car is research. I cannot stress this enough. You have to make your research, look up different models, prices, and features to find the best fit for you. Number 2, check your budget. Always make sure to check your budget. Consider your income, expenses, and savings to determine how much you can afford. Number 3, after being approved for a loan, test drive multiple cars. Don't just settle for one test drive. Try out a few different models to compare. Number 4, check the car's history. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. Always ask the salesman for the Carfax of the car before you even purchase it. Make sure you have all the details of how many owners has had the car before you get in the car. Always make sure to ask, guys. Use services like Carfax or auto checks to see if the car has any accidents or major repairs in its past. Number 5, negotiate the price. don't be afraid to walk away if the deal isn't right, because that's something that happened to me. When they told me how much the car was, I know deep down inside my heart it shouldn't be worth that much, but I was just desperate for the car. And when I went into the car dealership, I just made up my mind not to come out of there without a car, and that was another mistake that I made. Do not be afraid to walk away if the deal isn't right. Always make sure to negotiate the price to get the best deal. And the last tip on the do's would be don't rush. I say don't rush because, like I said again, I was rushing, and that's one of the major disasters that actually happened to me. Take your time and don't feel pressure to make a decision on the spot. Always be willing to walk away. Now I'm gonna get into the don'ts that you shouldn't do when purchasing your first car. Number one, don't fall for extras. Salespeople may try to sell you additional features or services. Make sure you carefully consider whether you really need it. Number two, don't ignore your instinct. If something feels off or you don't click with the salesperson, trust your instincts and walk away. Trust your instincts and walk away. Number three, don't extend yourself. Be honest about what you can afford. Don't take on too much debt or commit to payments that are too high. Number five, or that's number four, I don't know, I lost track. Don't forget to check the warranty. Make sure you understand what's covered and for how long. Number six, don't sign without reading. Carefully review the contract and ask questions before signing. Remember, buying your first car is a very, very, very big decision. Take your time, do your research, and do not be afraid to ask for help. So I hope with sharing my experience, I've been able to educate you guys as to the do's and don'ts of purchasing your first car. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.